What up, guys? Welcome to the Base Damage Podcast. And this week on podcast, this will be number 42. And we actually got back a couple of the people that haven't been on for a while. But first, we have Mr. Bentley Coombe. How's it going, bro?
Good. Hi, I'm Bentley from Weiss Schwarz.
Yeah.
I'm still currently single, and you happen to be white and gay, and you like to play Weiss, then we should totally make a custom set with Magic Set Editor, and we can make a custom climax combo. But yeah.
So that this is interesting Tinder profile. What? No, I'm just kidding. No. Or I don't know what people are using nowadays. Okay, so that's a thing, and we also have who will be airing next week because we have some podcasts that are already recorded. Mr. Joe Schmo.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Yeah, he and I discussed Bang Dream starting next week. And then lastly we got Timmer.
So my entry to this podcast is not as good as everyone else's, so I'm sorry.
You're fine, dude.
Oh, well, I have a 15-minute intro if you want to make it technical, okay?
Okay. But Timmy, you have not been on a podcast in a hot
minute.
Like
I remember when we just got the double digits, and that was about it.
Oh my god.
At that point, it was mainly travel, and you guys did a lot of it away from Blue Ox.
Yeah, once
just to add the fourth dimension in,
You're fine. It's just, it does exist. We just try to ignore it some days. A lot of my dimension is anime, so I understand. Once the stream room, quote unquote, got commandeered by the excess of boxes, we just could not squeeze everybody into the space to record.
Yeah, it was one day we had the stream room, and the next day it was gone.
Yeah. Bentley, you would have liked it. A whole bunch of guys crammed into one room, one very small cooler. You would have very much enjoyed that.
Yep.
But, it was a cooler that didn't have AC.
So
that was great.
Bunch of hot, sweaty guys. Just yeah.
We got AC once the boxes got in there, though.
Yeah. That's the funny part. Oh, now that you're not using this anymore, here's the AC working again. It's just it's actually kind of comfortable in here now. But yeah. A lot of stuff's happened for that. A lot of the stuff I've ended up recording has either been at my place or just over Skype or whatever. So, also, fun fact: the day that this will be released, which will be next Tuesday, it'll be July the 18th, is actually my birthday.
Oh shit! It is.
Yeah. So, fun fact.
I knew that.
Yeah, the day that I just realized it in the middle of introductions and shit. So yay! I'm officially 27 the day that this comes out. So that's what I.
Ah, nice. Stay the youngest.
Yeah.
I actually would have never guessed it.
Actually, how old are you, Bentley?
22.
Damn right. So stay the youngest.
Kyle is still the youngest. He just turned 21. So. Okay, that's interesting. Just a little random tidbit of information for myself, years down in the future. Hey, this exact podcast. Okay, so a couple other announcements. One, the Bushiroad Springfest has finished, so we are going the next big one after the shop challenges and whatnot for the summer. We'll have the Fall Fest, but for now, Springfest is over, which we are going to be trying to. I'm going to try to compile, kind of a rundown video of some of the some of the bigger things that have most of the decks that have just straight got first place across the board. So, Bentley, you'll be included in that. So.
Oh yay! And probably lots of SAO as well.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's going to be so much
but...
SAO. It's going to be crazy. Actually, someone did put up the most of the top 3 stuff got posted on one of the Facebook pages, and it was SAO definitely had the highest representation. So. Thanks, re-edit. So
I'm saying re-edit worked magic. I really hope we get other re-edit sets for other clan or other anime.
Love
I want to say
Live
every
re-edit.
other Bushiroad game except the right one. I was like, clan, world,
Lucky Logic, what?
Yeah.
I don't even remember what they called their stuff.
Close.
Oh, thank you.
The what now?
I said close. Because fucking Logic, you changed. Never mind. All right. Anyway, so talk about the topic today.
We ain't even to that just yet, because there's an even bigger piece of information that has occurred this last week, good sir. And I know you were devastated.
Blood.
Moroku was, I don't want to say excited, but he did say, I fucking called it. Persona 5, regretfully, has been delayed. I know I posted up an update video, but what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, just straight, what the fuck?
It's like
Makes me upset. It ruins my plans for regionals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. It's like literally bullshit.
Yeah. Because I know for a while in the podcast group, Bentley, you've been like, hey, whoever pulls any SPs of whatever stuff, I'm collecting them. And I'm just like, cool, sure, no problem, dude. And then this shit.
And then this happened.
Oh, I see, Billy. I see how it is.
I was
okay.
getting to you. You said you were planning for regionals.
No. I'm talking about the SP stuff.
See,
You didn't call any SPs.
To be fair,
You didn't call any SPs.
to be fair, you said you're planning for regionals. You don't need SPs for regionals.
Well, no,
Ooh.
I
You just need
aware.
the lower common stuff, you know.
Lower common stuff. What the heck are you talking about?
Yeah, you know, step aside, let the big
What do you-
boys play.
What the heck are you talking about?
Ain't
No.
I had a yellow red deck ready to go.
Did it have SPs in it?
I can definitely put some
I didn't think
SPs
so.
in it.
It wasn't in the original plan. I don't think so.
We won't know now.
Yeah.
We won't know now.
I kind of don't like how like they didn't even like the Facebook page, the Weiss Schwarz Facebook page didn't even like give a like reason why.
There was
Yeah.
like production issue. That's about it.
Like, but production issue is such a broad fucking term that that's them like it would. I agree, Bentley. It would be very, very nice if shit would be properly explained. To which I feel a lot of people just get pissed at Bushiroad for this kind of shit. It happened with Abyssals. Other stuff has got delayed, not by as much of a margin as Abyssals, sure. But other stuff has gotten delayed, but they never ever seem to give a reason for it, and a lot of people get upset over that. I think they would have
I've been with Bushiroad or at least not with Bushiroad, but like been playing Bushiroad games for ever since like Card Fight Set 1. And anytime something happened, they never really gave a reason to it except for the most basic thing. Like back in a couple when one of the sets got switched, so we got 11 first instead of 10, they're like, yeah, same thing as that. We just don't want to see Descendant in Worlds. That's it. The end. We switched it for that reason alone. No production issue. They just want it to, in a sense. And it just feels really weird.
Mhm.
But for Weiss, they just don't even give an answer. They're just like,
Yeah.
this is your generic answer. You're done.
Yeah.
And what's worse is that like they'll delay it like with Abyssals or like this guy, and then like they'll still somehow manage to get like typos or like errors.
Right?
Yeah. Like, you gave yourselves extra time. Come on. I mean, okay, Two of Rue had its, issues with, Darkness Plan and whatever, but that didn't have any delays. It didn't have any pushbacks. You get Disgaea issues and all this other stuff, and you still get colors wrong. You get shit pushed back so far that you still get colors wrong. You can't even get that shit straight.
The thing that takes up a literal, like, probably fourth of a card, really.
Easily. But a lot of the player base would be fairly understanding, I would hope. If
Oh, no, we're all pretty understanding. I mean,
yeah,
you saw how long people waited for Abyssals. That was almost a year.
yeah,
And they were still faithful enough to stick around and buy that stuff.
fuck yeah. Like, shit, after that it was a matter of, the principle of the matter.
At this point, the torture was over.
Yeah. Hey, give me my fucking Abyssals, just done. I really wish an explanation would be given, but they just don't seem to care enough. I don't know if that's, the real thing of that. Like, one of the things, P5 alone already had, like, the game, not even the set, the game had, it got pushed back before. Obviously, for years had, constant production things go on, but then it's actually, the game is out. We're getting it in America on Valentine's Day. Push back another 2 months for
I got fucking stood up on Valentine's Day.
you and everybody else, bruh. I understand. But they also didn't state what that reason was for, seeing as the game had already been out, did not have, I think, any glitches, any bugs in the Japanese version. Like, there was zero problems, no day one patches type thing. And it still got pushed back for literally no reason. And I think one of the problems that may have occurred was this was kind of a rumor going around, and I don't know if this was the same issue Bushiroad had, but in Japanese, Futaba her code name was Navi, but over in America it became Oracle because anybody knows an annoying little fairy from Nintendo.
Hey,
Yeah,
listen.
She was Navi, and I wonder if that was also the same issue Bushiroad had. Like, it would be funny. It would be kind of like, hey, didn't you see this happen with the fucking game?
What pisses me off the most is that like they didn't even give a future date for like when we could probably expect P5 to come out for English. So it's gonna pretty much be like Abyssals where we just don't know until like they find a date to like.
Yeah, like at least give us just a random date. Really, give us some hope.
Yeah, at least do that, and then you could change that date again if issues happen. Agreed. So, yeah. So, we'll just go ahead and take bets now. When is everyone's projected release date? We'll just go around. Mine, I don't know, be a nice Christmas present. I'm going to say December.
I was gonna say Christmas time.
So,
I'm going to say Valentine's Day next year.
damn.
Yeah.
This is from the P5 lover here.
Yeah.
They're prepared for their wait.
Yeah. Because we already know we're getting Konosuba next month. This month we're not getting anything, obviously, and in September is AOT. So
Looks like I'm investing in Bang Dream.
Well, if you pull any of the green cards, let me know.
Making shenanigan deck.
I mean, that's essentially. I already got up with Andy. Like, I'm gonna be getting some cards. Andy's. I know you, Timmy and Kyle. You don't know. Andy is one of the other guys from the podcast group. His YouTube channel is Stock Soul.
Who?
He got like 8 boxes of Bang Dream.
Question: Why?
Because also
Why
because
not?
a lot of the people in the podcast group also were are big fans of the mobile game. Was it mobile game, Bentley?
Yeah, it's a mobile game. Yeah, I don't have it.
Yeah. Like a lot of them in there a lot of the guys in there are fans of the mobile game and playing that and whatnot.
I understand that. I
so-
completely understand.
Yeah. Not so much the anime because I haven't finished the anime still.
Oh, come on now. I liked it.
Like I'm not saying I have a problem with it in any way, shape, or form. I just haven't finished it.
Just said you didn't finish it.
You know, there's My Hero Academia, Aramanga Sensei, all these other good high quality stuff's coming out.
I heard Academia, but there was a fuzzy part there when you said good anime on the second part. I'm kidding. I have no problem with Aramanga Sensei. Aramanga Sensei is actually pretty good. It's crazy, but I just had to trigger some more people because there's been apparently like people like just crazy over that show as well.
Yes.
So yeah, we do not have a definitive release date for P5, and who knows if we ever will. Should I make the joke, or should someone else want to?
No, they're gonna take their time. It's all right.
just we may never.
We'll
see
never
it coming.
see it coming.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
We made 2 references. All right, there you go.
Yeah.
I just think it's like kind of sad now, like just like for English Weiss release, like it's like now people just have this like assumption where like okay, like that set might be canceled or whatever, or delayed, so it's kind of like sad on English Bushiroad.
Waiting on Konosuba.
Exactly.
It's pretty sad when a new set gets released, or not even released, just gets mentioned. You're like, oh man, I'm so excited, but now we're like, when's the delay?
Yeah.
Whereas, I just want to point this out because of another thing mentioned with the erratas and stuff. There was no delay problem with the booster set for Bang Dream, and I have yet to hear anyone say that there's been any errata problems or card text problems yet. It's only been out for 2 weeks at this point. But I've usually seen errata mentions like the week of, or sometimes the day of, depending on the
Oh yeah, people will like
set.
just search every card and wait for the errata.
Yeah, no, for real. Like Tula
Because like
Rude
errata
plan was
from
day
this
of.
company is pretty funny.
Yeah,
Just having like random symbols thrown in the middle of the text is great.
yeah. So, no problems with that, right? Like Bang Dream, they own it. They had zero issues with it. I understand they have to work with a whole bunch of other companies, especially having to work with Atlas on trying to get the P5 shenanigans taken care of. I can understand that that's a problem, but I don't understand it as much when they already have it for Japan. If it's a set that's already in Japan, if we were getting it at the same time, I could understand there'd be, an issue.
Yeah, an issue worldwide, but
Yeah, but if it's something, okay, Atlas Japan has already said, sure, card game, no problem. Atlas America, what's the problem? If that ends up being the production issue with the company type thing, you've already confirmed it once, so that makes me wonder if it's something else on Bushiroad's end. I don't know. Fuck it.
right. Again, Bushi, answers be appreciated. Thanks.
Please, thank you. You can send all your answers to, in the
Base
comments
damage at
in the comment section.
If one of your representatives would like to be on the podcast one day, by all means,
You know what? I would thoroughly accept that.
I would too.
If
Because
a
they'll probably
Bushi-
curse us all out.
Are you kidding? We'd curse them out.
No. The podcast will end up being delayed. So what's the point?
I'm gonna start mentioning that just like on the Facebook page. Hey, we had recorded this podcast with the Bushiroad representative, but it's been delayed. I'm sorry. And it's just fuck it. I'm gonna make that post like tomorrow. It's gonna be fucking great. I'm gonna see who gets that because that was beautiful. That's a beautiful idea. So, but like all seriousness, no. If a Bushiroad representative would want to, if I could ever get one on this fucking podcast, Waifu Wars is an understatement. So,
Look, this is why I asked. We need to make the business cards because if we go to regionals, there are going to be Bushiroad people there. We slide them the cards.
Oh, is this a podcast where we start thinking of Base Damage Inc.? Okay, I got you.
Yeah, bro, you gotta get official with the business cards. But no, like seriously, if we give them the business card with the email and stuff, and give them the YouTube page,
they'll throw it away, bro.
well, it's reaching out there, getting out there.
You're saying we need to wake up, get out there.
So many references
I know.
in one short amount of time.
Oh, believe
But,
I
like-
have not yet begun to Makara Karn. What? Wait, sorry, wrong thing.
Just your solo breakdown is killing me.
I'm sorry, we'll get to the actual topic in a second here because dude, I realize the shenanigans is going on a little bit too far here. Okay, so your idea possibly for the future, I would not mind be like, hey, who's someone we could talk to? I don't know, something.
Who's
Shit.
willing to come to a Skype call with us?
Yeah, I know, right? For fuck's sake, like I would not mind that, especially for like down in Jacksonville and whatnot. I would thoroughly enjoy like just trying to talk to people and just be like, so yeah, what's good?
So about that P5 that isn't out yet.
All right. Shoot, that'll be October alone. Let's see if there's any news before then. But anyway, getting into the actual topic, this is still going into more, the P5 thing would happen on Facebook and people discussing that. Something else that happened on Facebook, I want to say a couple days before the P5 announcement. I saw a couple people on, I cannot remember if it was the foreign Facebook page or if it was the new one that Strictly Broken made. I just cannot recall. But they were discussing probability. A question got posed by one of the other members up there about, if this mill runner, I don't know if he was mentioning like the referencing the temporary alliance Kirito or just most of the mill runners in general. But like, hey, would this be a good idea of such and such and such? And it got into a big discussion over probability, which, as much of a mouthful of a definition as it is, Timmy, you pulled up the definition of probability for us, correct?
I did, and the first two definitions had the word probable in it, so obviously we're not going to use that.
Because a definition that uses the word in its definition is just...
Oh boy, I'm going to have to take a swig at this profile for this.
Your throat's going to be dry as a fucking desert after this, so go for it, bro.
Probability. The ratio of the number of outcomes in an exhaustive set of equally likely outcomes that produce a given event to the total number of possible outcomes.
Whew, even I felt winded from that. But the chances that shit are going to happen. Simplest way you can put it. In a
nutshell.
And I'm looking at the discussion up there, and no offense against anyone up there in particular, but I feel that not a lot of people... I'm not going to point any single person out up there in any way, shape, or form. Even though...
Yes, you, the viewer.
You, the viewer. You. No. Just input the Uncle Sam pointing epically at the screen, right? No, I was supposed basically, it did not seem like a lot of people understood how probability works, or maybe they were just describing it in such a way that I was like, what the fuck? Because it got into a discussion of what the chances of the top card were, and that's obviously what you got to worry about a lot of in Weiss because of based off damage, based off triggers, etc. And people got this is like I said, I'm not going to pull up like any legit quotes here, so I apologize if my summarizing on this quote was weird. But it was the probability of the top card and the second card both being either being a non-climax or a climax is the same thing. It's the same chances. And I'm like, yeah, but we're only focusing on the top card, right? Because, I'm not poking for, I'm not having my character swing for a damage and saying, I want the damage to come from the fourth card from the top of your deck. Type thing. So I don't understand where people's issue with that came into, because people are like, nah, dude, there's no difference. And I'm like, yeah, it is. You got to worry about what the fucking top card is. So, anyway.
Isn't that the whole point of the game, is to worry about what the top card of the deck is?
I mean, for fuck's sake. I'm not, there's no effects that... There's none of the mechanics that hit a card further down than the top card. So, anyway. Basically what it came down to is I figured a little bit of discussion because of both the runner being one that mills, and they also brought up compression in it as well. I figure we should discuss some of the advantage engines. Specific examples of cards that will be on the screen. Zekken Yuki, that grabs cards from the deck. The level 1 Mikon from Tulovaru, and stuff like that. As far as stuff that pulls cards out of the deck versus advantage engines that mill, aka Nita Minami from Idolmaster Cinderella Girls, and the new Inherited Sword Skill Asuna from the SAO re-edit. So, I know Bentley said he had a whole bunch of stuff he wanted to talk about on this. Which one would you like to tackle first?
Well, may I bring up something?
Depends. It relates to your Love Live fanfic.
No, that's after credits.
Just kidding. Go ahead.
All right. No, what about the cards that you can mess around with the top cards of your deck? You thought about them? Because that changes the probability overall.
Agreed, but that's more during your turn after stuff has occurred, because that's all during the main phase. A lot of those cards' effects are during the main phase.
Yeah, no, but still, if you want to look at it in the perspective of say your opponent, you still can manipulate the future in a sense.
Yes, because there are. I kind of understand where you're coming from, because on the opponent side of that, there are cards that say combos that'll say put a character from your opponent's field on top of the deck, or put a card from your opponent's waiting room on top of the deck. For the turn player that's doing that, if they have one that checks like the top 2 cards, rearrange them in any order, that's probably going to change unless they decide to pass turn.
I was like, after 2 attacks, that's gone, unless they pass turn immediately.
Yeah, honestly, that would be funny. Oh, look at the top 2 cards of your deck, and if I see both of them are climaxes, I might pass turn. I'm just saying.
Oh, no, I've done that against Kyle, actually.
Yeah, don't remind me. You fucking
So, not so much. I don't see that affecting it as much because of the fact of best case scenario, you're going to do 3 attacks, and then those top 3 cards are gone, whatever they were. So at that point, the future isn't as set up as it was before. Even in the example of one of your Nozomis from one of your Love Live decks that said, check the top 6 cards of your deck, put 3 back, put other 3 into the waiting room.
No brands. My
No brands.
love and hate relationship.
Even that, if you get 3 attacks off, those top 3 cards are gone. You don't know what it is after that. Done.
Cool. 6 climaxes. Which 3 do I want on top? Which 3 do I want to drop?
That happens to you more often than not, and I'm surprised you're saying it with a smile.
I said it was a love-hate relationship, Timmy.
Yeah.
Did I not?
That's pretty fucking accurate, too.
As tears roll down your face.
Yeah. So, those types of effects I don't see as relevant to that. It's more of the stuff of... It's more
Things
of the,
that permanently affect the deck for the time being.
at least stuff that goes into the battle phase type thing. So, that's more of the stuff right before your opponent's turn. Right before, all that jazz. But, yes, Bentley, which of those would you want to tackle first? The milling or the compression? Which would you prefer to handle?
We can talk about compression just because it's like a pretty like general idea. Like most people like know it. Like specifically, Zek and Yuki is like probably one of the best like level 1 advantage combos in the game right now. Just because like you don't even have to like reverse or anything. You just pay 1, ditch 1, and then get 2 cards from your deck, and so that's 2 less damage from your deck, and then you're also quicker to refreshing. And I also, just like in general, I like looking through my deck to see how many climaxes are left so I can get like a general idea
Oh,
of
absolutely.
like I'm going to survive next turn or whatever.
Mhm.
But then there's also, again, like just regular the Shimakaze combo where you need to on reverse, which is kind of iffy because you're not always like guaranteed to like get a reverse off. But when it works, it works.
Yeah,
Good.
it's just that's another example of the compression, because you're pulling the exact cards that you want out of the deck versus just whatever gets thrown at you at random. Like no offense, no problem with any of that as far as just even against the milling effects. I don't have a problem with either. I've used both, so it's whatever. But so in the specific thing of that is, we'll go ahead and continue to use Zek and Yuki here, because this was another thing this was still a thing that was kind of brought up. So, when you got X number of cards in the deck, and you've basically kept track of your stock as you just refreshed or whatever, and about how many climax cards are in there, that was the main issue, is people trying to figure out, like, the chances of canceling, and that's where the compression comes in a little better, because sorry, I'm still trying to word it, and I know how to say it, I'm just being right now. It's been a long day.
It's easier to word if you like actually put a number to it instead of like X.
Valid point.
Like let's just start off with 8 climaxes. Just you have all 8 in the deck.
Okay.
So you've opened your first 5 hand. So you've already eliminated 5 cards. So that's what 8 out of 45. That can be a climax.
Okay.
Right, and then at the beginning of your turn, assuming you draw and then clock and draw 2 more, that'd be
3 more
8
cards
out of 42. Yeah, which ends up being like, what is that? 4 out of 21.
6.
It's 4 out of 21. Might be somewhere around there.
I think it's 8 times 6 is 42.
Yeah. Okay, so you're right then. But yeah.
I think I was doing my math right. Calculator time. Sorry,
No,
I actually am having to do this. No,
You're
8
good.
times 6 is 48. I apologize.
Yeah.
So, see, kids, use a calculator. When you're 27, you forget how to do basic math, apparently.
Go ahead and bring that
call
calculator to
yourself
Weiss.
old?
No.
Still old.
Not yet, at least.
No, but I've been out of high school for almost 10 years. God. I'm sorry. While I loathe in the corner, please continue, Timmy.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Well, that was basically my point. Like, it's easier to talk about it if you add numbers to it instead of just saying, like, X amount of cards. And you're like, wait, how do I put it into an area?
Exactly. No, you're absolutely right. Is the way you got to turn the probability into is a factor. Like if you it's a fraction. If you have 8 in the deck, or however many climaxes are in the deck, is your top number. Your bottom number is the number of cards left in your deck. Because the biggest scenario we're looking for here is, will the damage get canceled, type thing.
I think what's also important to know is like, personally, I think like after the first refresh, you like generally you have like a better understanding of like what's left in your deck and stuff. Like how many climaxes are going after first refresh, and like I do this. I don't know if everyone does this, but like I like to count like how many triggers I run in my deck, just so I know like the chances of me like triggering like the next soul for an extra soul on like the next attack or whatever.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. No, I've pointed that out to oh my god, I can't think of his name. Matt Brower. I can't remember his name. I pointed that out to him for an effect that he had that for the effect tossed characters back into the deck. And I told him, dude, just throw some of your higher level characters back in there so you have more crit chances for trying to do some more damage. And so I understand where you're coming from as far as like keeping track of that, giving yourself chances of potentially more damage output. I understand where you're coming from on that. There, please carry on. Sorry.
I was gonna say another thing to keep in mind is just like this is kind of obvious, but besides like counting the deck, but like I think sometimes we forget like to like know again what's like in our stock, because like there's times where I forget like, oh, where's this level 3, like I could have sworn it's in my deck or whatever, but then I realize it's stuck in my stock or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Or like there's like some cards like a utility level 0 card that like you level up with or whatever, and like you expect it to like have it again in your deck or whatever, but then like it's not there or whatever.
You're like,
or it's like
the
rest of the copies are like in the rating room, sir.
Yeah. You're going, wait, where the hell did the copies of this go? Oh, look, my level.
Yeah, your level. Oh man, let me just pay these 3 stock. Oh, that's all the cards I needed.
Yeah.
I've done that before too. That was really fun. And stuff not get refreshed back in.
That's another thing, just to touch up on the refresh aspect. Once you refresh and you get or how many climaxes are left in there, you kind of get a general feel of like what's on your field as well.
Yeah.
Or like what's hidden in the stock and whatnot.
Because then you got to keep track of how many cards are out of the deck at that point. What cards are in your level?
Then
cards?
That probability changes quite a bit, actually.
Drastically, actually, yeah.
Because if you have all 8 in there, but you have a full field and like 4 stock with 2 cards in hand, that's still quite the bit of cards not in the deck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I mean,
I think
that turns like 8 out of 45 to 8 out of like 30.
Easy.
I think like generally we all have that one experience like when you're playing Weiss, and like when you like go into your turn, you draw, and then like you look at your hand and like your field, like you still have all your cards on your field, and like you like realize you don't need to clock or whatever. I think that's something that like is important to note as well. Just something like that, just to understand like your game state.
Yeah, like if you know that you're gonna have to commit a board, or if you're gonna have to spend resources, obviously you're more than likely gonna clock in that case. But like you said, is the fact of you know you're set, and you're like, oh, I can afford not to clock. It's perfectly fine. Continue with my turn. Proceed to do attacks, and just potentially leave, especially if you do more combos or whatever that compress or they mill or whatever. It's understandable at that point, and it's like a thing that people just don't tend to keep track of.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll be too greedy and I'll like clock or whatever just so I can get more cards in my hand, and then like I'll be too compressed to the point, but then like I'll just draw into like 2 more climaxes when I could have just like not clock and just like brainstorm instead. Whatever, and then I plussed anyways.
I know, I am a victim of greed. I'm like, I got to do it. More cards in hand, the better. Let's go. And then, 2 climaxes, rip.
Yeah. You sound like you're remembering some bad memories there, Joe.
And I also got reminded of the shop challenge and how much I got screwed over with my brainstorms.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
2 times in a row, mind you, back to back.
Yep.
Good old Weiss, never ceasing to amaze.
It's just every time I do a brainstorm, there's a 80% chance that it always never hits, or there's like 4 climaxes. There's never in between.
I forgot who it was against that you brainstorm. You got all 4, and you're like, oh, I lose now.
Because they were the last 4 in the deck. I had like 20 cards left in the deck. All right, brainstorm. All right, GG.
So I'm just gonna scoop now type thing, you know.
You're like, I get to search 4 cards, but I'm gonna lose next turn.
It don't matter.
I also want to mention this another level 1 advantage compression is there's level 1 combos where you build stock as well. It's you're getting cards from your waiting room into your stock, so when you go to refresh, you have even more or less cards.
Yeah.
To be put into your deck, meaning you have a better chance of canceling with your post refresh.
Yeah, one of the examples you gave me of that was one of the combos you had in your Milky Holmes deck of this even also goes for climaxes that say, a card from your waiting room to your stock type thing. Throwing extra stock in multiple different ways is a form of compression, and some people just fail to realize that. And
yeah,
because when you refresh, which it's Weiss, you're gonna freaking refresh in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, Milky Holmes is a weird Weiss deck because I always have this assumption or mindset that I'm always going to be going to refresh with 7 or less climaxes because there's a good chance that there's going to be one stuck into my level zone because of how Milky Holmes mechanics work. But at the same time I have a really compressed state because I have a lot of cards in my stock because I'm building stock with my level 1 combo, and I'm going through my deck fast with just the back row being able to mill 4 on either player's turn and grab a card is pretty nice.
Exactly. To which, like you said about the refresh thing, the other half of our discussion / contemplation on the whole thing of probability is we mentioned the advantage engines that compress, but there's also the advantage engines like the Nita Minami from Idolmaster that mill 4 cards on reverse. So 1, you swing, you trigger, that's 1 card out. Her effect goes off, you mill 4, you've gone through 5 cards off of 1 attack. Should the reverse occur, or should the reverse occur of or her effect go off because of the climax combo and all that. I've seen some people post up little salty pictures of this was posted up a while back where dude got the reverse, revealed the top 4, and all 4 of them were climaxes.
That's unfortunate.
She specifically grabs a music character, BTW. But
I feel like this was a Love Live deck.
No, Idolmaster. It's Idolmaster.
Oh, it was Idolmaster?
Yeah, Idolmaster's all music plus other randomness.
Love Live has one too for Maki.
Yes.
Oh, yes, you're right. The We Are a Single Light Maki. You're absolutely correct on that.
That's why I was
Yeah. No. This was Nita Minami because he's just best mill ever.
Yeah, everyone's cum dumpster.
Not wrong in that case because it was pretty painful to watch that. Even just off of a picture, that was painful. But one of the things leading up to that, because you got to be mindful with that how many climaxes you do mill. Because I've even seen some people do that. Mill. It's not a brainstorm. It's okay. Well, reverse. Because I did try out testing out an Idolmaster deck, and I've done the mill off the Nita Minami. 2 of the cards be a climax or whatever, and I sit there and go, well, they're gone anyway, so I have 2 cards to choose from. But
yeah. Well, at least with when you do mill and you do hit a climax, well, at least it'll go into your waiting room, so it will be guaranteed to go into refresh. I'd rather have it in my waiting room than stuck in my stock or hand or whatever. But it's when I refresh, so.
Absolutely, as opposed to, like you said, sure, Zek and Yuki has the you can pay, so if, the pay on the swing for the climax combo, so if you have climaxes in there or have just recently triggered one, you can get that out and keep it clean. But that is something you have to that the milling advantage engines do have is the fact that for a fact where they are, but your opponent also knows where they are.
Yeah. At least it's nice to also control. You don't have to always do 4-2. You can stop at a certain number.
This is true. A lot of people don't realize that. Usually, depending on what you're trying to go for option wise, you can basically what was described to me is you can stop whenever you want. Like I know Kyle said that quite a few times on several things. I've said that quite a few times on several things. Is like a drug addict, I can quit whenever I want, or whatever.
Proceed not quit.
But this is true. Like best example I had for this was Winter Moment Akatsuki, which was this is how this was explained to me. When you use her effect, you look at up to 4 cards, and the up to you stop whenever you want. So if you look at the first card and you know for a fact that is the card you want, you can stop right then and there. Like, oh, this is all I need. I don't need to look at any more. Or if you just want to look at the next one just to see what it is, okay, well, I'll pick one of these 2 and go from there. But you can stop whenever. Go ahead.
And the best part of like those Akatsuki effects is that say if you play Akatsuki and you have 4 or less cards left in your deck, whatever, and you can you can look it up to 4 or whatever, and then say you have a card or you have no target, but you have you reveal a bunch of climaxes. The way Akatsuki's worded is that those cards will go into your refresh with the way the effect's worded, so it doesn't really hurt you as well. And there's always that sense of I feel for me it's a drug rush or adrenaline rush when I want to do 4 with Akatsuki or whatever, just because it's a really good effect.
Yeah, if you're basically I know what you're talking about with the effect. The way that it specifically worded and was described to me was say that you have exactly 4 cards in your deck, and you do this effect, whether it be off of Akatsuki, whether it be off of something else that you mill for, that you look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. By the wording of that effect, they are still on the top of your deck, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. So that's why you get to look at all 4, and you don't refresh just yet. You and whatever's in there that you don't pick goes to the waiting room before refresh, because they haven't left the deck yet. Specifically because of the way that it's worded, says from the top of the deck, meaning it's still there, which is really weird way to interpret it, but at the same time, it's advantageous to me. So I don't question it. But so both have their pros and cons, sure. One of the other ones I know I mentioned earlier was the new Winter Moment. See, still on Kantai here. Inherited sword skill, where your opponent doesn't get to see what card you grab, which is pretty cool. It just says look at up to 3, grab a card from it, pitch the rest. I'm just okay, cool. I don't get to show my opponent. That's actually kind of fun. Whereas the compression ones, you have to reveal what they are, because the Zekanyuki specifically says avatar net. And so you have to show that they're avatar or net straight up. But those ones that just say grab a card, any card.
Yeah, that's nice. It's any card.
Mm-hmm. It's just, well, you don't know what the fuck I'm getting until it hits you in the face.
Right.
So I have to remind some players about some of the new players, sure, even some of the older players. If the effect will go off, I'll say I don't get to see it. It's just as a card. You don't have to show me. And they're like, wait, for real? Because they'll
that 1 second of intense reading afterwards.
Yeah.
They're like, wait, what? And then just lift the card to their face and stare at it. And you're like, yeah.
Actually, I had that exact moment with Phil. Nothing against the kid. I just was like, yeah, bro, I don't get to see that. But he already showed me.
Oh no, I do it all the time.
Yeah.
If I'm playing a new deck and someone says something, I'm like, huh, really? And I'll pick it right on up.
It's just UFC time. So that's understandable. Oh man. But yes, as far as how probability plays, obviously with compression, is pulling non-climax cards out. For milling, it's controlling how much gets refreshed back in.
Yeah. While we're still on the subject of compression, I know a lot of the cards we've mentioned have been level 1, but don't forget, there's still a bunch of level 0s that search on reverse too. Specifically, just because I'm looking at the card right now, Unison Raid Lucy, because she's on when she gets reversed, you go and search for a magic card or a magic character. But the card I wanted to bring up the most, which I can't think of its name right now, it's the level 0 from Angel Beats. That
I know what you're talking about.
Are you talking about Yuri in the Battlefront? Or are you talking about the level 0 red?
No, the yellow one that it's a yellow card. It's the one that not only searches a card out of the deck, but it also sends itself to memory.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's permanent compression.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that's an even bigger form of compression, is how much stuff you can send into your memory, because those are never going back in.
Yeah, they don't ever go back in. There's just a permanent card gone.
So, Exactly. Like that's a I don't know. I don't remember the card name either, but I know exactly
I've
what you're
been
talking
searching
about.
for it for the past 10 minutes and I cannot find his name.
I would say go check out the deck profile, but I haven't posted it yet, so that's whatever. Spoiler.
My
Um,
take is like with
Mhm.
like just with like milling of like if you have like a mill runner in your deck and like you don't use the mill effect, I feel like what's the point of even running that card in your deck? It's like it might as well just be a 2500 vanilla card.
exactly.
That's fair. That's very
Like,
fair.
I've seen they're far and few between, but I actually have seen some free runners. But they'll specify they have to run in front of a character or whatever.
Or like an open slot, but like generally they're weaker power or whatever.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I have a Remy in the Bang Green deck that does that.
Yeah, that's actually one of the ones I was gonna specifically reference. You're right. It's she was free,
Yes.
but specifically the whole issue of this being brought up was if I mill a card off the top of the deck, it's no different if the card hadn't it's not no different if the card hadn't already been there. It's the fact of if the card that you mill is not a climax, you are one card closer to you are that much closer to a potential cancel. Not that you want all the cancels in the world at level 0, because you do want to get to level 1 before your opponent, sure.
Mhm.
But it still is a thing, and people were trying to say that it doesn't matter. And I'm like, it fucking does matter. What the hell is wrong with you people?
Yeah, especially like my opponent has like a Shimakaze or like a Mikon or a Manami on the field. Like obviously I'm gonna like try the mill run so you don't get a free search.
Absolutely. I did that to Matt in this was just a game at the one of the tournaments in the locals. It wasn't for the anything big. He had done that. He had thrown down 2 Shimakazes. Strangely enough, I was running 2 Overroot aliens. So the Lala runner, it doesn't even mill. But it's the fact of you're gonna use runners like that. This doesn't mill. I realize this isn't the best example in the world, but adding on to what you said, he threw down 2 Shimakazes, and I just used the runner effect to go away from the 2 Shimakazes. Had that been a mill runner, it would have been even better, because then, okay, I'm one card closer to a potential cancel, as well as he's not getting his reverses. He's not getting his searches off. So I understand
like
where you're coming from.
all these people are like, I don't want to run with my mill runner. I'm like, I wish my 2010 single Kubasara set even had a mill runner.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, please.
Bro, I wish older sets like had half the cards these newer sets
real.
do. Let's be real here.
Yeah.
Are we going back into our fairy tale rant of
No, no.
Fairy tale
I'm
re-edit?
over that for now. For now, I'm over that.
He's like, one day we'll get back to that discussion.
Someone praise that dude. Someone talk with it. I'm happy for him.
Oh God, yes. I can't remember what it was. I don't know if the results have been posted for that. I need to look that up. There was a fairy tale deck that got I don't remember if they got top 8 or top 4, but one of the two.
Well, whichever is the case, he is my hero. He has ended my tangent for now. He has sated my thirst for blood.
I'm sorry. That I like that wording. I'm sorry. Oh my goodness. Bentley, do you remember which tournament that was that had that the Angel? I think it was in Europe. So it could have been umpteen different places. But there was a fairy tale deck that topped, and I cannot remember what it was or where it was.
I think it was either Europe or like Spain. I don't know. It's like one of those countries.
Yeah, it was the fact that it topped. I immediately, the second that I saw that, went to my Facebook Messenger and messaged Timmy. I was like, "Hey, bro, guess what?"
I think me and you both messaged him at around roughly the same time.
Yeah, you did. You both. I got 2 messages. I was like, "What do these guys want?" And Billy's like, "Yo, so check this out." And I clicked the link. And I'm like, "Huh?" And I just I spent the entire day searching for a deck. I was like, "Who did it?"
I will look it up again later, because it should, if it's one of the top 3, it should be posted by now. I don't think it was, but I'll double check.
I'm still looking for the 0. I don't know if I'm still looking for it. I will find it by the time this thing ends.
Oh yeah, and Billy, like we both run Tularu, and like with our sitting Mekons, like just having like the option to just mill three, like just
Exactly.
cut is pretty nice.
Yeah, like there have been several times where I've just like the sitting Mekon basically on play. You can send the top 3 cards of your deck to the waiting room, and there have been plenty of times where I'm just like, should I do this? I'm gonna do it anyway. Why the hell not? Just mill it anyway, and end up you get nothing off of it, sure, but just simply knowing that the next 3 cards, whatever climaxes were there, sure, the gold bars are going to go to my hand. That's whatever. The spin triggers off of that, though, are not. They're going to be stuck in my stock, and if I'm close to refresh, I prefer those to go ahead and be in there. So, yeah, no, exactly. A very, very good example, actually, is that sitting Mekon. Like, the value off of that effect is knowing what is now in your waiting room. Is, okay, that was, I didn't screw up there.
Yeah, and then there's like some sets like with brainstormers or like level 1 combos where you get to salvage or whatever. So you have like more options to work out with.
Absolutely. Let's say there wasn't really any stuff for TLR for the yellow green that messed with the waiting room as much, but I've done that before one time and refreshed to be able to then go into the Mekon, use the Mekons to reverse stuff and search with a fresh new deck.
Yeah,
So,
that's always.
Yeah. So I understand where you're coming from on that, and it's pretty. It's little things like that have use that a lot of people just don't see, or they just kind of overlook it and going, but why would I mill if it's an option? And I'm like, you'll get a benefit off of it in some way, shape, or form. The fact that it's an option is good, but yeah, that's whatever.
Ha! Found it.
You found
Sekine loves pranks. That's the name of the card.
Oh yeah, because
Pay
isn't
one.
she getting like groped from behind?
No, they're
No,
not.
no, no. She has
This is the
pom
cheerleader one.
poms.
Yeah.
Yeah, she has pom poms. She's just like, yeah.
Yeah. Pay
She's
one.
almost like yes,
Put
queen.
a card
yes.
from hand to the waiting room. Put this card into your memory. When it becomes reversed, pay the cost. If you do, search for up to 1 music character added to your hand.
Shout outs to that card.
Yeah, that card. Permanent compression.
So, memory and replace itself? Yes, sure. I mean, another example of that.
Well,
is
it's,
like the
it's not
freaking-
really replacing itself because you have to discard a card, but still.
I mean, still, like, that's pitch a climax. I mean, done.
That's fair, yeah.
The hand fixing on that's very useful. But, obviously, I would say, if you're going for the probability of what can give you potential better cancels, obviously the compression via umpteen searchers, umpteen brainstormers that search or whatever, hell, that gives you both. You mill from the brainstorm and then you still search. So,
Right.
I mean, that's kind of whatever. It kind of replaces itself because X number of climaxes are out, but then you pull that many more cards after that, so you get even more compression, quote unquote, for potential cancels. As far as cancels go, compression's the way to go. As far as like knowing exactly how much are going to go back into the deck, milling is just as good. So it's the fact of if the effect is there to mill, do it. Done. Don't sit there and be like, there's no point in doing it. No, there's a point.
Oh yeah, and then
Sorry,
I have this like one card in my Puyo deck that's like it's a 1/0 blue Kikimora, and then it's a 4500 power. On play, I can ditch a card, and then both players refresh. Like that has like multiple applications where like say like at the beginning of the game like I got climax flooded or whatever, and like I know I'm not gonna cancel like the next like bunches of damage, so I just like force myself to refresh. Like sure, my opponent refreshes as well, and like it helps me like in the end. And then also like when I'm playing this actually happened last week where like I play like my triple finishers, the Arl, and then he had like my friend Enrique, he had like 1 climax in his waiting room, but he had like 20 cards in his waiting room as well, so that's like all that extra damage goes back into his deck.
Especially
So
if
it's like-
you know that they like triggered some climaxes. It's like, okay, we know it ain't going back in.
Yeah.
Of course, there's also been the times where you have to clock a climax just for reasons. So, especially if you know where all those are. That's whatever. It's not whatever. It's good to always keep track of that. Another example of that, there was a backup of a Kotsky from Log Horizon that did close to the same, I think almost the same effect for both players.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember if it was both players or just you, one of the two. But basically, to just kind of round up like people's preferences. I prefer compression. We'll just go around and see what people would prefer. Like as far as the better probability, which would y'all prefer? So, we'll go ahead and start with Bentley.
Personally, I prefer. Alright, you saying like if we prefer compression or milling?
Yeah, would you prefer the compression for, getting the higher chances of cancels, like right then and there, or doing the milling off of X number of cards, whether it be Winter Moment, Akatsuki-esque effects, Brainstorms, Advantage Engines, whatever, and knowing how much is going to get thrown back in after you set up your board and whatnot? Which of those would you prefer?
I feel like when it comes to like trying to win the game, because the goal of the game is to get your opponent to level 4 before they do it to you, I feel like compression is more important. Just so like if you can like cancel like all this attack or whatever, it gets pretty frustrating when like when your opponent like just cancels the entire turn from your attacks or whatever. I feel like doing stuff like that consistently like for the game, like throughout like the course of like one game or whatever, just trying to like attempt at it is what is more important than like milling or whatever, because like you still can't really control like milling is nice, but you aren't really controlling what's being milled as well.
Exactly.
It's a good mechanic.
It is very good. Yeah. Like if someone else wanted to use it, I wouldn't try to say, "Oh, that's bad." No, it's still very good. There's no problem with it. It just has the probabilities change up depending on which one you're using, and
one changes numbers bigger than the other. That's really basically what it comes down to.
Agreed. So, with that being said, Timmy, which one would do I know the direction that you're going for your choice?
Probably. I'm pretty down for. I'm down for compression. Honestly, it's pretty immediate, and for a fact that once you're doing this compression, you can already kind of count exactly how many's in there and what your chances are then and there. With milling, you can't.
Agreed. I'll give you that.
However, I can't really just choose one because milling is great for when you need to speed through your deck. Like if you open 5 or 6 climaxes. Go through that deck as fast as possible.
I've seen that
while also being rid of the climaxes that you need to put back in.
Exactly. Like, example of that. This is why I also like spammable brainstormers.
Oh boy.
With
spammable brainstormers.
We were talking about Angel Beats. One of the guys who the deck profile for him is going to be actually posted up pretty soon. Jason at Blue Ox had done that. He had seen like 6 out of the 8 climaxes like opening hand. Still was able to swing with a couple characters, but as soon as he had enough stock for it, before I could drop like a climax to push for a whole bunch of damage, he just milled as much as he possibly could with that brainstormer.
With that level 0 as well, like that's cards permanently added. Actually, Angel Beats has multiple cards that send themselves to memory when they get reversed.
Yeah, dude, half that.
They got like 2 level 0s. They got like a level 2 that does it.
Yeah, and admittedly, it's Iwasawa, so it feels just saying, just try not to cry, man. Try not to cry.
Forever in the memories, but but yeah, like so combined with all the milling and whatnot, you refresh your deck, and all of a sudden you're got a really good chance of a climax.
Exactly.
You can survive late game if you have to.
Yeah.
Which you normally have to, but.
Exactly, and also because it makes it so instances of 7 damage don't stick as well as just. Sorry, just had to throw that out there.
You're welcome.
Good girls.
Are you kidding? No, I had fun helping build that deck. That was great.
I have fun playing it more than you.
Exactly. So
it works better for you. I don't know why. It just works better for you.
That deck loves me.
Because you buy her a diamond ring every time.
Every game. Mm-hmm.
Oh. So, continuing, Joe Schmo, your choice.
See, I'm kind of torn on the situation because it's more of what's the situation calling for. That's what calls for me. So when I was playing Angel Beats, yeah, compression was definitely what I needed because I did what Jason. I had a similar thing to what Jason did, getting rid of stuff early on, so on and so forth, getting what I need early hand, then go with that plan. Currently, brainstorms are helping me out more than compression are. Because, in the Bang Dream deck, which I've been using recently for some reason, don't know why, the Brainstorm has helped me out every single time, and I've been able to set up for the Wombo combo, then do 5 damage to you, and have a 20,000 beat stick on the ground. But that's because I can get my stuff to my hand early on.
All right. Fun fact, Matt Brower just tried to call me, and I'll just giving you a shout out here. What's up, bro?
Hey.
I'll text you back in a second.
Hi.
Sorry, continue. I just had to throw that out there because I looked over and I put my phone on silent and I saw I was getting your call. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's just, for me, it depends on the situation. Currently, right now, I'm favoring Brainstorm because they're helping me more than compression does.
Yeah, so you're favoring the mills currently.
Yeah.
I mean, that's understandable, though. It depends on the Brainstormer for me.
Well,
because there's the spammable ones. There's the ones that are like, you have to rest 2 cards. Then there's the ones that are like, yeah, it's spammable, you don't have to rest anything, but we don't really make you search a card. We just... Like the Saber one's a great example of that. Just pay 1, flip the top card, I gain that much soul. Like that, so much.
We could talk about negative compression if you want to talk about Saber.
Speaking of Saber, yeah, I was gonna say negative compression's great.
Oh, that was hilarious! Like
taking climaxes out of your opponent's waiting room and removing them from the game permanently. Fantastic.
Be honest, like if Andrew hadn't have gotten to you first and getting that deck, I probably would have.
I know you would have. Like it was sitting on my deck or on my desk for like so long.
Like, dude.
And I was really close to just like I kind of want to play it again, but then Andrew came out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, you're the last person I thought would want this.
Ah, dude, it's actually a really, really fun concept, and I like it. But yeah, so we got a couple positive votes, but we got a couple unbiased.
Yeah.
But completely understandable because I can agree that it's a lot of it does seem to be, if you can have both options in the deck, it works out really well.
Mm-hmm.
And you end up potentially plussing a lot. It just really depends. But with that, we'll go ahead. Unless anyone had any other closing statements before we decide to close out.
No, not really.
Timmy?
I'm pretty good.
Benley, any closing thoughts?
I want to say, thank you, Billy, for having me here, and glad to be here with you guys as well, Timmy and Joe. And also, thank you to my mom for giving birth to me as well. Yeah.
Amen.
Gotta throw that shout out there.
Yeah, Pay 3 for Hanyo said that on his interview as well, so completely understandable. But yes, to everyone, thank y'all for listening. Thank you to the guests, Benley, Kyle, and Timmy for being on. Definitely try to have y'all on again at some point, whether it be all at the same time or individually, it's whatever. Thank you to everyone listening. Please subscribe if you have not already. Make Kyle spend money. And we will see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.